And you're highly qualified. So let's hear a little bit about your
the qualifications. Well,
So
politically, the experience of being a council member and having gone through a budget cycle that was the worst budget cycle that Lompoc ever experienced. So surviving the budget, making the hard decisions, dealing with the budget, which is an ongoing thing, is an experience that I think is invaluable to have right now. The second, my professional career. I come from the high tech. I have a PhD in chemistry from probably one of the best institutions in the planet, which is the University of California, Berkeley. In my field, it is probably one of the top universities in the world. So I'm very proud of that. And it wasn't easy. It was very hard to do. But, that was a long time ago. That was back in 1986, so it was, another life. After that, it was basically a career as an engineer in large companies. Also worked for a lot of startups, so I have a lot of entrepreneurial experience. I've written grants for the government. I have tried to stay alive with, being a two-people company, women-owned business, and those kind of things. So I have quite a broad variety of knowledge in the business side, in the private sector side. I have never worked for the public sector, with the exception of becoming a council member. That's really the only time that I have acquired this experience. And they're two different worlds.
And now you're also working in education, which is
yes, I forgot to. Yes, of course. So I teach, and I teach college level students. And I did this in the past. I taught for 4 years up in the Bay Area where we used to live. Freshman students that are coming out of high school that are going into some scientific field, whether it's nursing, pre-med, engineering. They're coming out of high school and they're going into the college world, and that's a huge, culture shock. And I enjoy it a lot, just dealing with young people. It just keeps you alive, very much alive.
And so now you're at Allen Hancock College, right? And this is one of our most strategic partners in the whole region, so perhaps you can tell us a little.
Absolutely, and so community colleges versus universities. Okay, a community college has, I would say, a different approach to education, and they are actually serving a different market, if you will, than a four-year institution. Now, part of the community college students are going into a fourth-year institution. So, the community college gets them ready to make that step in their junior year to go to a four-year institution. But there is another, which to me is the very attractive side of community colleges, which is the vocational programs. So community colleges, when their funding started to tank, when universities became more expensive, they became somebody, many people, I'm sure, within the community college, environment, had the vision to say community colleges need to do vocational vocational programs, certification programs for that class of our student population that is not going to the four-year institution, that is not going into the more classic professions, whether it's engineering, medicine, legal, whatever. Students that are going to get a very specific skill that it only takes about 2 years to get, and come out with a certificate, with a certification, with some degree on a very specific thing that puts them in the workforce, with somewhat of a higher wage than with no education, right? So community colleges today offer, degrees in the culinary arts. They have, nursing programs, vet programs, many different types of certifications that have come out of a lot of the new regulations that we have, in the last 20 years, whether it is crisis communication, whether it is public safety, that we're going to have here in Allen Hancock.
And that's going to be a very important addition to the community. Why don't you talk a little bit about the public
let's finish the community college thing, which is, viticulture, another thing.
That's one of their most important programs.
In
Viticulture
Allen Hancock today,
Oh, yeah.
it is their most successful program. It is what is providing the school with, a really, increased enrollment overall. And it is not only just kids coming out of high school, it is also a lot of adults that are retraining because their jobs have gone away.
I'm one of them.
And they're looking into get new skills in new markets.